Here are my two schools, Texas and Nebraska. Can I get a drum roll? Keep going, keep going. All right.
Welcome to the Go Big Redcast in our special Lunchcast edition. I believe this is number 7. And today we are with a very special guest, Ochana Mathis, mother of Ochana Mathis, defensive end, recently signed through the transfer portal for our Nebraska Huskers. How are you today?
I'm doing just fine. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I watched that announcement live, and I'm pretty sure my neighbors are still mad at me because this is a family show, so I try not to swear on it, but a few F-yas were coming out of my mouth walking around the neighborhood, and my wife is like, "Are you okay? Is everything okay?" But I have not been that excited for a signee in I don't think ever. So
right, yeah. No, the biggest voice that you're hearing screaming, that was me, and I was like, "Yeah."
Well, he faked me out when he looked like he was going to reach for the Texas hat there for a second. And then he stopped, right. And I was like, "Oh my God, he's going to pick at the Nebraska hat." So before we start talking about all this, I have a couple things for housekeeping that I need to talk about. First, coming up on Monday, June 13th, we are interviewing Steve Warren. Unlock Your Potential. You can subscribe and hit Steve Warren from the Warren Academy. Dream Org. He will be doing a show with Honky here coming up, or actually with the regular Redcast coming up on June 13th, and that'll be at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can also remember to subscribe to Hail Varsity magazine and use the promo code Redcast, where you can receive $10 off your annual subscription of $79.99. So make sure that you're using that. And also with FSC Edge, and I'm going to just go ahead and shame myself here a little bit because FSC Edge is one of our sponsors here. And of course, I screwed up and did not actually pull up the read here. So I apologize to everybody in the world for that at the moment. And I will have that back here in a second. So also, my computer is just being weird on that. Also, wanted to remind everyone about Alumni Hall. Now, if you like the t-shirt that I am wearing today, then you will like what Alumni Hall has to offer. They're located in downtown Lincoln. They have 2 stores out there in Lincoln as of right now, and you can check them out at Alumni Hall / or at Alumni Hall UNL on Twitter, or alumnihall.com /Nebraska/Cornhuskers. And check them out and go there for all of your Husker gear itself. So that being said, I just wanted to welcome you to the show today. We're really excited to have your son as a Husker. And more than anything, I want to talk about that journey with you as his mom, because that was one of the things in all the articles that I've been reading, in all of the, pictures that you see, and every statement that he has made, he talks about you.
Yeah.
And one of the important things I think that's involved here is the fact of how much the human factor seems to get taken out of a lot of these, transfer portal signings, just players in general, right? Because we see them as that's all we see them as, football players. And there's a whole lot more that goes into that. And you're still living in Texas, and you just sent your son off to Lincoln, Nebraska, of all places. And, that was a crazy decision for you. And there was a lot put into it behind, a lot of people saying, "Oh, well, Nebraska and their NIL and everything like that." But that wasn't true with your son, Ochana, right? Like, there was more that happened there. And I was at the spring game. I saw the environment firsthand for the spring game. I saw the number of people that were there. I got the feeling there that, it was more about kind of like a giant celebration of Huskers more than it was an actual football game, right? So what about that weekend kind of changed your mind? Because I'm sure you wanted to keep your son close to home and close to your heart. But tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I wanted to consider it as like just like a a breather because he was so focused on graduating from college. This was a major decision in his life. This is something that mom, dad, uncles, aunt, no one can make that decision for him. This is something that was going to be deep in depth for him. So him, all of us coming together that day when we stepped into Lincoln was more of us stepping back, and it's more of a business decision for him. Um, me personally, I couldn't fathom my child being so far away from me. That's just the mother instinct,
Mm-hmm.
Um, Texas is like UT is like what 45 minutes away from where I'm located now,
Yeah.
versus 9 hours away from me.
Yeah.
So, I tried to put that in the back of my mind because I knew at the end of the day, this wasn't about me, it was about his future.
Yeah. So you guys are spending the weekend in Lincoln, right? And there's you and there's Oshan and there's your other son who I'm sorry, I don't know
Bruce,
his name off the top of my head. And
Bruce Jr.
oh man, so look at you guys had everybody there. And you know, how was that? I mean, when you were there, was there things going on outside of just kind of the recruiting? Like how were you treated through all of that?
Um, we were treated beautifully. I mean, the hugs, because we're a huggy type family. I'm huggy. I'm sorry. I don't like handshakes.
I'm a
Handshakes just
hugger
seem
too. I'm not gonna.
so sympathetic. You give a handshake to somebody, but I'm just like, we don't do. First thing I said, we don't do handshakes. We do hugs. So it was just like everybody was just welcome us with hugs and stuff. Um, with Bruce, it wasn't overwhelming for him, and I thought, to expect it being overwhelming for him, but it wasn't, and that was a that was a plus for us, to just check on him and say, you all right, like, he stepped back, I'm good, I'm fine.
And
Uh,
and you're referring to your one son who as he has autism, correct? And
yeah,
that's and
yeah,
that and that so I worked with adult and children with autism after college for a few years. I worked in a couple of state hospitals and some group homes, things like that. I worked in a day program as well called Becoming Independent in Northern California. And so I know kind of how the interaction with family and people, and getting, being comfortable in an environment, right? And everybody in that is different, right?
right.
What how was your feeling when you walked away too? Because I know that your son Oshan had mentioned a couple things about that, with how they treated his brother, right? And so
Mhm.
can you talk about that experience a little bit? Are you comfortable with doing that?
But I'm more than comfortable with that. Bruce and O'Shawn are thick as thieves. You don't see one without the other. And when you do see one without the other, it's for a reason. And when we walked away from that experience, the gleam in both of them. Bruce, he doesn't normally, cuss or anything, but he was like, hell yeah, Nebraska. And he was like, yeah, so him and O'Shawn would step away, and him, they're having these conversations and stuff, and then he normally doesn't touch on people, but he touched me, and he was like, it's gonna be okay, mama, it's gonna be okay. And I knew then that he felt his space, a safe space. I knew that that was good. Nebraska was going to be the place for my son, and just the whole community, the whole state, just to see the togetherness and the families brought together and stuff like that. That's what really impacts, because we're a we love each other, you know.
Yeah.
My kids and you know, we love each other. And to see all of that combined in a stadium, but just that short amount of time, it was powerful. It was very powerful for us.
Yeah, it's crazy to see what 50,000 plus people gathered for basically what amounts to be a scrimmage, right? On a Saturday in the middle of, in the beginning of May. So it's always crazy. We've got a question already from one of the people watching, from Abby Harris. She's one of our best Twitter followers out there as well. She wants to know what some of the differences between when Ochan was initially recruited out of high school compared to now with the transfer portal, right? You know, going to TCU to the transfer portal. Can you tell us what that was like too? Because I know you were involved with both of those decisions.
Well, when he was being recruited out of high school, it was totally different totally different. O'Shawn had a lot of the decision making in both of those, you know, in both. But I think that I had a lot of the impact on why he chose TCU in the beginning. This transfer portal made him more aware of his decisions and more in control of his own path, you know. So that was the major difference in between the him going to TCU and him now in Nebraska.
Okay. Yeah, and so I mean that's a big decision too, to leave a school like TCU, right? And he's pretty close to home. I see your hair, I see your shirt. You know, you're sitting on a throne, much like what a lot of the recruits get to sit on when they're there. And I know you said you do events. That's why I was asking, did you take the chair with you after you just
No,
when you came? How often are you gonna be traveling up to Lincoln?
as much as possible.
Yeah.
I miss my baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be there for every one of the home games. God willing, I will be there for every one of the home games. I'm going to make some major moves and try to make some of the out of state games, some of the away games as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I'll be in Nebraska for every home game.
Nice. Is your son excited to leave the country and go over to Ireland?
He is ready to touch the field. He is so excited about touching the field. He knows that this is a process, and that with every process that you take, any move that you make in life, that there's a journey in ahead of it. So he's just taking everything in stride, doing those workouts, doing what he needs to do, staying focused, learning new materials and stuff. And he's just like, I'm so ready to touch this field.
Has he ever left the country before?
No.
So he's gonna be flying across over to Europe. His
Right.
first game as a Husker is gonna be an away game in Dublin, Ireland. I mean, I don't know. Like I try to, like, those are the sort of things I imagine my life could have been like back when I was in my 20s, but well, sure. I mean, who doesn't dream about traveling somewhere to play? For me, it was soccer, and I always wanted to play internationally, which I never got a chance to do. So that's actually pretty cool. So, well, Husker Nut says, welcome to Nebraska, Ochana. Love all the work you're doing on Twitter to help recruit kids to Lincoln, which brought me to my next question. I mean, you are, like, right now probably the number one recruiter for this program. I mean, have they reached out to you about a job yet? I mean, what's because it's great to see somebody who is so new to the area, just kind of promoting it so much.
Yes, you want, me as a parent, you will want your child to be in an environment, in a space that they're wanted first, and then they're needed. That's two different things: being wanted and needed. And and I used to be an advocate for people, when they're going into going into schools and stuff, talking, about different IEPs and stuff like that. And I'm always been a strong advocate for kids in general.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna if I'm trusting in a program with my child, I would definitely want to put that in the ears of all the parents that, hey, if she trusts her son with a program, why shouldn't my son be, should my son be in the same predicament where he's wanted and needed?
Yeah.
So when I see those kids, say, hey, I was like, come on, come on.
What about the city of Lincoln? We got a question. It was from Tyler Bandiera, I think is it. And what are some of the things about Lincoln that like you enjoyed the most?
The hotel we were in was beautiful. Outside of that, I'm a country girl. I like space. I like different sceneries and stuff
Then you
like that.
love Nebraska. There's a lot of space in Nebraska, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh, this is a breath of fresh air, because I'm from a small town called McGregor, Texas, and all we had was cornfields and farms. And we had this little population of a city. It wasn't even back then. We was like probably 500 plus.
Okay.
So I mean, it just brought me back home when I went to Lincoln. Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. It's funny
And
because I live.
your corn ribs. I cannot. I still. I'm gonna have to find out where those corn ribs are. I'm telling you, whatever anybody knows where to find those corn ribs, let me know.
Well, hey, if anybody's listening right now and you're on Twitter or you're on, on our YouTube, go ahead and throw that into the comments section, or you can actually, just tweet it right at her. I think her, it's at Queen Bee, I think is what it is, right? But the E's are threes. So,
Yeah.
and you could probably just go to any of our tweets where we've tagged her in there and let her know where she can find those. Jim in Minnesota asked a question that, and maybe I don't know how much you're involved in all of this part of it, but it's a football question. He says he feels like Ochana is going to be unleashed in a way that he hasn't before now that he's in Nebraska, right? And does that sound correct? Like he's going to be used differently, right?
Yes, they're going to use him. They're going to set him loose, and that is something that he's always been wanting to do. Is be. Oh, that's my mom.
That's your mom.
I'm like, wait a minute, is she calling?
No, she's commenting on. She's on YouTube, commenting on YouTube.
I saw what I did here, but yes, he that is something because when he was in high school, that is something that the coaches would let him do, was to set him loose, and they set him loose, and he made all of those, all of those plays, those positive plays in his games, and that is something that is going to, let him do is set him loose. So.
Well, from all the film that I've seen of him, that's probably going to be the best way to use him. I'm a big, I watch a lot of NFL, right? I'm from Northern California. I'm a Raiders fan. I'm big NFL guy. And he's kind of reminds me a lot of like the Max Crosby or the Khalil Mack type of player where, it's almost like a linebacker defensive end hybrid position where you can line him up pretty much anywhere where the matchup seems favorable to get him in there and get him the sack, right?
Right.
And I imagine that I think they were talking about, oh man, I always screw this up and get it, but I think we're going to be moving to are we moving to a 3-4 or 4-3, 3-4 this year? Yeah. And he's going to be moved all over the line. So I'm excited to see that because we haven't had an impact player like that on our defense in a few years. Moving to 4-3. See, I knew it was a 4-3. I just always reverse them in my head and switch it. And plus I also believe that defense is fluid. So you can say 4-3 all day long, but you're going to be, moving guys around on the line. And especially with some of these players now, I think we're going to see a lot more blitz packages and things like that. But that's just an opinion. Yeah. So that's so funny that your mom's commenting. I can't get past that part of it. So, so can we maybe touch a little bit about, um, you know, when Oshan was coming out of high school, because you mentioned a couple times when he was coming out of high school and he was being recruited by TCU, was he getting a lot of offers from a lot of other schools at the time?
He was, and it was overwhelming. He had offers from a lot. He had offers from OU. He had offers from uh, when he not Texas. Texas didn't offer him.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think it was A&M. It was a lot of it was a lot, and it was so overwhelming. We sat down and we talked about it, and I was like, if you whatever college you're choosing to go to, and you want to stop all of the communication, we can do that. And he was like, yeah, let's just. He said so that I could be able to focus. So that's when he 100% committed to TCU early on.
Yeah. And so what was his major there while he's doing it? Like what is he majoring in at this time?
You know what? That is something that I haven't. I think it's something to do with business.
But
I
okay.
haven't. I have not asked him just yet what his. I know that he has a lot of things that he wants to do going forward. He talked about nonprofit and all the other kind of stuff. So I think that a business venture. I think that some business is going to be going on since he's going to Lincoln right now.
Okay. Okay. No, that's great. I mean, obviously a lot of people forget that while there is there's an education that's going on here with these kids as well, right? So I am always interested to hear like what these kids want to do, in the event that football does not become their career, right?
Right.
Obviously Oshan has NFL dreams, and I think he has the potential to be, at least a top 2 round draft pick when it's all said and done, right? That's again, that's an opinion I have just by watching these kids, and he hasn't even touched the field for the Huskers yet, but he's got a lot of tape on him so already.
Yeah.
So we got a question, another one from Husker Nut, who he said he talked about how impressed you were with Coach Frost and his honesty with you guys, and maybe I'm going to give you kind of the floor here to talk about that right there. I mean, what was he so honest about? What did he say to you?
He was Coach Frost was very transparent. He sat us down. He let us know all of the flaws. He had all of the flaws the program had, what he needed to do to fix them. Some general advice going forward. No coercing, and stuff like that. And that's what drew me even closer to him. He, is a family man. He loves his kids. He loves his family, and he told share with us a lot of the stories that about his kids and stuff like that or whatever. We had a lot of laughs, but the main thing that I liked about Coach Frost is he brought into the conversation of he brought out the humility within himself, what he needed to change as a coach. And for somebody to come out and just to have that general conversation, he knows what he needs to bring forward to bring bring Nebraska win. He knows what he needs to do as far as being a coach. And what I could go deeper in depth, but
I'm like, I want you to. You just keep going. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm just trying not to. I'm just trying to.
Every Husker fan, everybody watching this right now is a Husker fan, and they all have, while we all have like confidence that he can turn this around, there's also doubts in our head. So
Right.
so here we go. Ready?
Yes.
You and I, we just stepped onto an elevator together. We don't know each other at all. But you see that I am a kid looking to come to Nebraska, right? and your son is already there and he's already met it. Give me your 60-second elevator pitch right now that as to why I should come to Nebraska as a football player for Scott Frost after the seasons that he has had.
You're going to give me 60 seconds.
That's right. You go right ahead. You tell me exactly. We just stepped on the elevator. You look at me and say exactly to me what you would say.
Well, where are your parents? Where are your parents?
My mom and dad are standing right next to me, and they want me to go to USC.
Oh no!
So why should I come to Nebraska?
You should come to Nebraska. I see that that you're here to visit Nebraska, and my son and I and our whole family, we love it. If you want to be in a powerful program, someone that's going to take you to the next level, that's going to tell you, pull the film out, show you what your flaws are, going to work with you in and out to make you better, to make you, to be positive, to do everything that you are wanting to do to enhance your career. Choose Nebraska. Don't go nowhere else. Choose Nebraska. We're here to stay, and we would love to see you here on this field on game days, you and your family. And then I will hug the mom into
that. So
thank you for bringing your child here.
That's great.
And having them. Yeah.
That's great. All I know is the state of Nebraska now is probably going to just grab whatever it is that you just said. And, and Abby Harris says, I love you so much, Ochana. You got to come. All I know is that if I see you at one of the games when I come out there, you're getting a hug. That's all I know.
No handshakes. We hug. Hug.
I'm a hugger too. I'm a hugger too, and it always makes me laugh because I'm a big mama's boy, and
okay.
I really so I moved to Colorado back in about 2008 from Northern California. My mom's whole family comes from Nebraska, and my parents actually followed me out here, and they live probably a good 5 minutes from my house, right? Like just right up the street. And Abby says I'm 100% respectfully tackling you. So that's the kind of hug you'll get from her. And if you haven't met Abby or seen a picture of Abby, she's about I would say she's probably 5'3", and that might be generous. So so if she's tackling you, but I always make fun of her, and I call her CrossFit Abby because she is always working out. So, and she doesn't do CrossFit. So
Abby, make sure you choose your stance if you're going to stand up, or we're going to end the 3-point. That's all I got to say. When if you get the 3-point, I'm with you. But if you're standing up, I'll maneuver, do some maneuvering around there.
Just keep it inside the pads, right? It's hugging, not holding. That's right. What it is, I mean. So tell me a little bit more about yourself. What do you do? What besides being an awesome mother of a Husker mom, what is it? What about your life? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I'm just right now, I have my own business. And I just perform events, decorating for baby showers and stuff like that, making other people happy. And I enjoy that.
What's the business called? This is your time to self-promote you, because we have listeners. They're not just in Nebraska. We have people from all over the country listening and watching this. So you need to tell people where to go if they want to hire you, especially if they're in Texas.
Okay, well, my business name is Simply O's Design. I do have a Facebook page. You can go on Facebook and view all of my work. I create beautiful events, balloon work, setups, weddings. I also do custom treats, candy apples and stuff like that. I love candy apples. Candy apples and Rice Krispie treats and stuff like that. Just treat tables are my specialty. I love to do treat tables. I travel right now. I am mobile. I travel all over the state of Texas, but I'm looking to expand that. And basically, I just like making things beautiful.
Yeah,
that's what I do.
That's awesome. The it's so you said you were born and raised in small town
O,
Texas.
O's with apostrophe S. Simply
O
O.
O with apostrophe S. Well,
Yes.
simply O's design. There you go. Um,
Right.
so you were raised in small town Texas,
Yes.
and you know everything when I hear about that, and I was kind of raised in a small town in Northern California, which now, I mean, small back then meant like 30,000 people, right? But that's Northern California. Um, and there's always like a sense of community and a sense of family that you get growing up where everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
How hard was it, or how hard has it been as a mother, like raising your sons to instill those kind of values into them, to and kind of what do you see in your sons that make you so proud of them from what they're taking from you, and do you see them doing stuff in the community that makes them feel, that makes you feel a little bit more prideful? And as Jim Misso said, what are you most proud of Ochana as a mother? So maybe you could talk a little bit about that. Like, some of the things, this is your time to pump yourself up. Like I said, where, what do you see in your son and in your sons really? Cause let's include his brother, that you see most of yourself in.
Well, in actuality, I have three children. I
Three.
have, yes, the girl that you see in the picture,
Okay.
that's the oldest. That's Lalacia.
Okay.
Then it's Bruce Jr. is the oldest, the second oldest. He's my middle baby, and
Okay.
then Osman is the baby. Yes,
Okay.
and then that's Elijah, the best friend. Yeah.
Okay.
So you know, um, I'm just I'm humble because I've always and I talk about this all of the time. And I used to tell them to go past the yard. What I mean by that is do something other else than what you're given. Um, you know, us being in a we was in a low poverty situation, and I always told them to value life, love each other, and always be together. And so those three things they carried on, and respectfully, I'm so proud of them for doing that. Uh, this world is not as it used to be, not as it used to be, and you have to instill those family ties with your children, because when you're gone, who are they to lean on but each other? Um, so just the togetherness factor. I instilled in them. I instilled them to love, even those that have done them wrong, in in other situations, um, and keep going forward in life, but just keep loving, because hate is such an ugly thing, and just keep just have compassion, love, and those are the greatest tools that they've taken. Um, you see, I've never heard any of them get in trouble, but now that they're older, I hear stories. I hear stories. Well, this, and I'm like, well, where was I at? And I'm just like, oh man, I'm a bad parent. Where was I at? Y'all didn't tell me y'all were going through these things, but it was just them looking out for mom, in their best interest, and like, hey, mom, we can handle, we can handle life, and you taught us this much, so we got it now.
How often do you talk to your son? Does he call you every day?
Every day.
Every day. No,
Yeah.
hey, I'm a 48-year-old father of four. I live 5 minutes from my parents, and I call them at least once a day. And that's when I say at least. Sometimes it's more. And I even talk to my mother-in-law at least once a day. So I mean, that's so I get it. It's
Yeah, with Oshawn being gone now, it's like I have to tell myself, well, he might need a break from me, or maybe I shouldn't call him today. Maybe he's sleep, but I still text, I still communicate, I text.
yeah.
Yeah,
And he FaceTimes you though, right? Like he doesn't just try to like drop you
yeah,
a phone call, right? That's
yeah.
good.
We have to, I have to see him too. So yeah.
Yeah, Oshan, if you're listening, always FaceTime. All right, we want to see your face. All right. Like I said, I mean, I got a kid just around the corner here, and I almost wish I could have him on a camera right here where I could see his
Right.
face. He's in there.
Oh,
He's in there playing Fortnite right now or something. I don't know.
word
He's oh no, he just yelled at me. I'm on my phone. Because of course he is. I'm going to take him out to hit some golf balls after this.
okay.
So, I mean, are you planning on moving to Lincoln by any chance? You know, before the season starts, did you guys consider that? I mean, I know it's a big uproot.
I am considering it greatly.
You are.
I am. I am making some moves right now to make sure that does happen. So yes, I
So
do.
that was the hinting at expanding your business that you were talking about, right?
Right.
I wanted to know, did you make any new friends for yourself while you were there? Like maybe within the program with the last name that rhymes with Joseph. Like did you meet Priscilla? I got to know, because the
I,
two of you
I,
teamed up could start your
look,
own recruiting company.
look, I met so many positive individuals that when I got back to the room, I was like, oh my goodness. It was just like a system overload. And I was just like, oh. But yeah, it was one young lady, and she just added me on. I need to look at my Twitter. She just added me on. And I'm trying to think of her name. But I said, hey girl. Because that's what we were doing,
Yeah.
It was like, hey girl, when I see her, I say, hey girl, I said, hey. But yes,
You're making some friends.
yeah, I did make
That's good. Did you get to meet Priscilla Joseph while you were out here at all?
You know what? I met so many. I'm not gonna tell you the story, but I met so many people that some of their names I just knew their face. I just like, hey, how you doing?
Well, Priscilla, you'd remember. She's the wife of Mickey Joseph, the wide receiver coach. There, he's a former Husker player, and he's out there, and she is just really big. What's that?
I might have sat by her at dinner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she is probably one of the sweetest people that I've personally met. I met her at one point while I was out there for the spring game, and she gave me a big old hug, and
Yeah.
her husband standing right next to her, and he's side eyeing me from the
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So
I'm glad you put that up there because I'm gonna see and I'll send a message and say yes, I remember
yeah,
her.
no,
Yeah,
she's great, and
appreciate it.
she gave some great restaurant recommendations and stuff while we were out there and everything. So, well, I really appreciate you coming on today. I do, because it's always, like I said, it's always nice to get the human side of our players, and not only just from our players, but also from their families, because there's always a bigger picture
Yeah.
when with these players than what we see on Saturdays, right?
Mhm.
And what we see outside, and it's always so much nicer for even myself, as far as attaching myself to these kids, and that's what they are kids,
Right.
and rooting for them, and it always makes me want to root a little bit harder for the people that I talk to on this show. And you coming on here and just giving us kind of a better idea of who Oshan is, from like probably the one person that knows him the best, right? I mean, you've been there from the first moment, and it means the world to me. I know it means the world to everybody that's been watching us today. you know
Thank
yeah, and if some random guy in a Go Big Red I can't even say our own name, the Go Big Red Cast hat, comes walking up to you and gives you a big hug, it's going to be me. So
you.
it's
Well, we'll be toggling then, because hey, we'll toggle hug, and then we'll know.
not the awkward side hug, right? Well, no,
No,
it's
we toggle hug.
two arms toggle hug.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
So and yeah, and if you want to stick around here when we end the show, we've got people saying, awesome interview, thanks for sharing.
Oh, my
And that's
mom.
your mom right there. Look at that. We got like, I don't know if Oshan's watching or not, but that would be cool to have three
He's
generations
probably
of
practicing.
yeah, he's probably is, or working out somewhere, I would hope.
Mhm.
So that's good. That's good.
Well,
Well, with that, I would like to thank everybody for watching today. And, these lunch casts are getting to be one of my favorite pastimes. I believe that this is number 7. Abby
Love
says she
you, too,
loves you so much,
Abby.
Ochana. And with that being said, that's another Go Big Redcast.